The Greybeards, pacifists, leaders in the way of the voice. All Dragonborns come to the Greybeards at one point or another. But who are they? And what is their representation in Skyrim? What does it say about them? Let's delve a little bit deeper. The Greybeards were first founded by Jurgen Windcaller in the First Era. He had a powerful tongue, which is considered your ability to shout, how strong your Thuum is. And after the disastrous feat at Red Mountain, they decided to go ahead and focus down away from war. They realized that the power of Thuum it shouldn't be used militarily. The Thuum instead should be used in this new pacifist creed created that is called the Way of the Voice. So he founded the original Greybeards to help teach this Way of the Voice. The Way of the Voice dictates that the Thuum should only be used for the worship and the glory of the gods, not military exploits. He built High Hrothgar, located at the near peak of the Throat of the World in Skyrim. Now, the majority of the Greybeards do not speak. They don't say anything until they need to. They only have one speaker who we meet in Skyrim. But in the second era, the Greybeards had been silent for years until they finally spoke one name, Tiber Septim. Now, as we know, no one refuses the call from the Greybeards. So when he went up to High Hrothgar and got named Dovahkiin, this was during the time that Septim learned that his destiny was to become emperor. During the Second Era, when they called his name, he became Dovahkiin. The Greybeards are directly tied to claiming the next Dragonborn. They have the power in them to tell when someone is Dragonborn. Not only that, but their leader is a dragon, Parthenax, who sits on the throat of the world, the top, the time wound. Now, by the time of the Fourth Era, there are only 5 members left of the Greybeards. 4 of the monks that live there, and then there's also Parthenax, the leader. The Greybeards also taught Ulfric Stormcloak, but Ulfric chose a different path. Ulfric decided that the meditation, the constant struggle to not use the Thuum militarily was too much for him, and he decided to go and fight a war and plunge Skyrim into chaos. During the time that we see the Greybeards, during the dragon's, rebirth, the Greybeards have stayed out of all political conflict at this point. They've removed themselves from the world, and they have been for, well, ever. The Greybeards in Skyrim are probably the best faction by far. They're upfront with you, they're clear with you, and not only that, but they always seem to be on your side no matter what you want to do. Not like you get much choice in Skyrim as to what the main story is, and same with any Elder Scrolls game, but they support you. They are like the Blades in Oblivion, or the Blades in Morrowind, or, all going all the way back. It's the Blades, of course, we have a video out on, specifically the Skyrim version of the Blades, for anyone who's interested in that. But the Greybeards are they're your lifeline. They're the people you contact with the most. They're the people that send you to go do specific things in the world. They also are the reason that you can find words of power in the world. They have a map somewhere, I guess, of all of the words of power out in the world. So when you go and ask them to get stronger, they'll show you the way to the next word of power. They are by far the most accessible way to find these words. Some of them are in places I don't even know. Because, hell, I haven't even wanted to go and get every single word of power. Most builds I make don't last that long. But still, the Greybeards in the main story are supportive of the Dragonborn from the beginning, as long as you prove yourself, which is why it also doesn't make sense that the Blades, Delphine, could even get to the tomb of Jurgen Windcaller, because Jurgen Windcaller built it for the Dragonborn. But that's aside again, we're getting sidetracked. the main point is that out of all the monks that live there, you only really speak with one. Even when he does oppose what you want to do with the Thu'um, he gets overridden by Parthenax, who is the most, well, advanced version of any of their Thu'ums. Parthenax sits at the top of the throne of the world, and he waits for the Dragonborn to come and seal the time rift, which doesn't quite make much sense, but we'll get on to the Elder Scrolls, what the Elder Scroll, the actual item is, next chapter. The Greybeards also have the power to bestow knowledge upon the Dragonborn. They show this in the game by not only creating words of power for you to read, but then also transferring essentially what would be a dragon soul equivalent of knowledge into you. Because for anyone who doesn't know, um, in Skyrim, when you kill a dragon, that's how you actually get the power to unlock each word, but you don't have to do that with them. The Greybeards will show you how to use the word. Now, we only know of a few of these people that really have been here, but we know that most Dragonborns have come here, and there haven't been very many. But throughout time, Ulfric Stormcloak, Tiber Septim, Jurgen Windcaller is the original, as well as now we still have Ognir, which is the one that you deal with the most, Bori, who is silent, Ethanar, who is silent, and Wulfgar, who is silent, and Parthenax being the Grand Master. Truly, there isn't much to say about the Greybeards, but what there is to say is quite interesting. And I think that for a faction, they really nailed it right on the head with these guys. I would like to see the Greybeards come back again, as many factions do. But it doesn't really make sense unless it's in Skyrim, because, well, these aren't traveling monks. They just sit on top of a mountain. But before I go, there is one character in the Greybeards that I decide I'm going to go ahead and jump into. Parthenax. Parthenax is by far the most interesting character out of all of them. He is a dragon, firstly, if you can't tell by the name Parthenax. But he's also, well, he's part of the members of the Greybeards. Parthenax, in the beginning of his time, was a leader. He was a leader in the dragon cult. He was a part of Alduin's army, and he considered him a brother. Now, during the Merethic era, which is even before the First Era, before the founding of the Greybeards, Parthenax was teaching mankind how to destroy Alduin. Him and a few other dragons had betrayed their former master and used the Thu'um to teach. As with all dragons, though, lust for power and greed are innate within them, and this is why Parthenax has locked himself on top of the hill. Well, the throat of the world. It's not just any hill. He's locked himself there because that was where Alduin was originally sent forwards in time. But as well as he doesn't feel comfortable going out into the world. Obviously, no one trusts a dragon, and you shouldn't for good cause. But Parthenax has, by becoming essentially a monk, created a world where he can be quiet and silent and sit on top and contemplate. He brings it up during your conversation with him is that there are things within you, desires that you shouldn't feed. And that's true. And that's for people and dragons in the real world and in not. But of course, Parthenax shows that it's possible that a dragon can change their way. And by doing that, he's the reason for Alduin's defeat. The Dragonborn would know nothing without Parthenax, or the Greybeards. But Parthenax really did a lot of the heavy lifting here at the end, after Jurgen Windcaller had died. Thank you all for watching. This has been a relatively shorter video, going over the Greybeards. I think that this series here that I have running with lore is quite interesting. I enjoy the lore. If you enjoy Skyrim lore, one, I got a question for you, but two, thank you for watching, and continue to watch because we're gonna keep doing this, as well as we're gonna be going into other games here soon. So if you're interested in the lore of, well, many franchises, or if you're an Elder Scrolls Online fan, go check out the Get Good series. Jack is currently showing anyone who's new to MMOs how to really up their game, and I think that's a great series. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been Spy Gaming, and I will see you all in the next video.